Hey everyone! Welcome to Coffee Chats with Ash. My name is Ashley, and I am so excited to chat with you guys today. If you are new to my channel, I am a life coach, and I am here to help you become the limitless version of yourself, to literally crush all of your limiting beliefs, to get into that limitless life that, many people think is a dream, and that it will never happen. So if that sounds like you are in the right place. So I invite you to grab a cup of coffee or tea or water or whatever and join us for this awesome conversation around self-deprivation and how we do it to ourselves and how to stop doing it to ourselves to allow more good into our lives. So before we begin, a lot of us, when it comes to self-deprivation, it sounds crazy. Like, why would I ever deprive myself of things? Like, I would never do that. I would never do that. However, many people do it on a daily basis just out of certain beliefs that they have within themselves, either from growing up or from society. And a lot of it is rooted around unworthiness. They don't feel worthy of things. They may not feel worthy of having enough money to be able to buy themselves something nice, or to go on a vacation, or to eat healthy foods, or to go out, and have a nice night out with a friend or something of that nature. It could be anything. They might not feel worthy of having enough room to have animals if they want animals. They might not feel like they might feel that the dreams, $1 million in the bank, the ability to travel all over the place, to have healthy relationships. Like, they might feel like that's all for only special people, and they're not one of them. So there are as many forms that this could take, and it can evolve as you get older, and show itself in many different ways. So a lot of times, whenever we don't feel worthy, number one, we don't ask for what we want, because even if we want it, we don't think we're deserving of it. So we're never going to ask for it. And that's step one in manifesting. You have to ask for it, right? Because if you don't open that door in your mind, when it opens in real life, you're not going to walk through it, because you're not even going to know that it's a possibility for you. This is why a lot of people are also afraid to dream. They're afraid to afraid to think big and think outside the box, and maybe move past maybe where their friends are, where their family are, and maybe just their circle of people. Maybe they're stagnant, maybe they're not growing, maybe they're whatever, and they're not moving past that because they just don't think that they don't think that they're worthy of that. So a lot of this comes also from sometimes wanting to control our situation. And when we want to be in control so much, we don't allow any of the good things in. So whenever we don't allow any of the good things in, then we don't know that they're possible, right? We're literally blocking them before they even get to us, because we're not worthy of them. We have all of these limiting beliefs. It's like literally you're walking around with a billboard, and your energy is so blocked that even if someone would offer you $100, you would find a reason why you couldn't take it or couldn't have it or whatever. And it might even be $10. So there's lots of things that that are on our billboard that we're literally walking around, and our energy is so powerful. Our energy is what, and our vibration is what attracts things to us. So when we have a very low vibration due to very low beliefs, we are not able to attract those things to us. And like I said, if something does come to you, you're not even going to be able to see it, because you have not opened that door in your mind first. So self-deprivation always starts with us. It always starts with creating a new reality in our mind first, and understanding that we don't need to deprive ourselves. So this comes a lot too with with moms. We all often think, well, I can't do this because I have to do this for my kid, or I have to do this for my kid, or no, I can't buy myself something because I got to buy my kid something first. And I I went through that a lot when my son was first born. I literally I had a life coach at the time, and she was like, you need to go out and you need to buy yourself something. Get yourself a nice, shirt or something like that, because I've always had this issue with finding clothes that I felt, number one, comfortable in, and that, I didn't value or felt worthy of like having nice clothes. So she said, go out and get yourself a nice green shirt. Get yourself a nice green shirt, and green because, it opens up your heart chakra, all those things. So I remember going to Target and I bought this green sweater and it was $20. And at that time, this was six years ago. That was a lot of money to me. That was like, oh my God, how can I spend $20 on a shirt? And I remember getting it and I brought it home and I talked myself out of it. I kept trying it on, taking it off, trying it on, taking it off. And then I came up with all of these reasons why I needed to take it back. So I took it back, and so it was crazy, and I didn't feel worthy enough of having it yet. I didn't work through enough mental, my limiting beliefs were so strong. And, that's obviously why my life coach was helping me work on that. And eventually I did get through it. And I went and I got a different shirt and whatever. But just to show you, like, the amount of mental pain that I caused myself going back and forth was not even worth the $20, right? Or should I say, it was much easier just to spend the damn $20 than it was to put myself through all that mental, stress. So that being said, we have to realize that we are worthy of our desires. We are worthy of what we want. And the best way to work through that is to, number one, find what your limiting beliefs are. Find where you are depriving yourself, and where you are saying, where do you constantly feel like you're talking yourself out of things? Maybe you feel like you're constantly saying, oh, I can't do that. Or, oh, I won't be able to do that. Or why should I do that? Or I really shouldn't do that. Like, I need to do something else for someone else or whatever. And this is, I'm not telling you to be selfish, but to be selfish in a negative way, but you have to be selfish in a healthy way. By that, I mean, you can't take care of other people if you are so depleted. So by you depriving yourself, you then deprive everyone around you. Number one, you might be depriving yourself of love, of happiness, of joy, of all the things, because maybe your parents were so strict. And they did things a certain way, and there was never fun. There was never, any nurturing. There was never anything like that. It was just very much of, strict, go to work, come home, same repetitiveness, with nothing else in between. So if we grow up in that environment, oftentimes we can feel like we have to continue that environment. Well, then when we move on and we have children and everything like that, you might catch yourself, like I did, kind of acting like my dad in a couple of ways, and he was just very much of, like serious all the time, right? There was very little times where he would allow his inner child to come out and have joy in his life. So I noticed that I was doing that. So I was depriving myself of joy because I thought, this is how you do it. And you don't do it on purpose, but you have to catch yourself, So when I had kids, it was very clear to me that I needed to change that. It wasn't healthy anymore. It wasn't serving me, and it wasn't serving my kids. I don't want to deprive my kids of joy. I didn't know I was doing it to myself until I seen that I was doing it to my kids. So then I started to deep dive into that in my life and realize, why am I depriving myself of joy? For what reason? I kind of uncovered it and thought, okay, well, why did my dad do it? Why was he so serious all the time? And what did he pass on to me, or what did I absorb basically whenever I was a kid, that I felt that was necessary, that joy wasn't okay to have in your life. and it was basically just went back to, well, he always had to be serious when he was a kid. He had a lot of responsibilities that he had to take care of, things of that nature. And then, whenever I was a kid, he had a lot of responsibility to take care of. He had 2 jobs, all these things. And he just always was very, like that. Well, I realized that, yes, I have a lot of responsibility, but one of my responsibilities is to make sure my kids are having a great life. They are filled with, healthy emotions, that they are able to understand that joy is a great thing to have in your life. So how I stopped depriving myself really was just to be a little less serious. Of course, there are times in our lives when we have to take things seriously, right? Absolutely, but we can't live there all the time, because it's going to block all the other things from coming through. That's a very, very stagnant, almost depleting energy when we live in that phase, that seriousness, instead of just going through it in the periods that we need to go through it in our lives, and take things seriously. So, allowing joy and playfulness and happiness, just go out and have a different experience, do something with your kids maybe that you didn't do, or do something with yourself, just say, you know what, I'm going to take some of my money, that I've made and go have some fun, whatever that may be. And, just like for our role with that, we take 10% of our income, and reinvest it into ourselves, whether that be, going on an adventure, going on a vacation, getting ourselves some new clothes, all the things, right? So you want to have healthy boundaries when it comes to all that stuff, and that's a whole nother video. But basically what I'm saying is here, you don't have to, because what happens whenever people deprive themselves, for so long. And then inevitably, whenever they have something come in, maybe they have a bunch of money come in, or maybe they have, this is, for my example of like what I did, I deprived myself for my entire life. And then once I had some money come in, from an outside source, I felt like, whoa, I deserve to have whatever I want now. And, I spent it on a bunch of stuff that didn't even last, right? Because we splurge, we become very impulsive. Because we deprive ourselves for so long, and then that, we eventually erupt. And when we erupt, it can be, it could be not good for our bank account. It could be not good for our, for the aftermath of all of that, like all of those things. Or you could, be overwhelming in a relationship too, so sometimes you have people that deprive themselves of so much love, and then once someone gives them some, it's like they become very, maybe overwhelming to the other person. So this can like I said, this can be in very many forms, not just financial, relationships, with yourself, all the things. But you need to check in with where you're depriving yourself. Where do you feel like you are stopping yourself? Where do you feel like you are literally blocking any good things from coming in? Just take an evaluation and then kind of think of, what do I want? What do I want in my life? And of course, then take baby steps to get there. So that's a little bit about how we can stop depriving ourselves. Again, we have to let go of that control of just feeling like we're out of control. A lot of times whenever we are out of control on the inside, that's when we feel like we have to control everything on the outside. Whenever we are in control on the inside, that's when we can relax and allow things to come to us. So being a control freak is not a great thing. And that's the number one thing. I know a lot of people like that who want to control and micromanage every single thing on the outside of them, every single person that's in their life. My husband's parents are very much like that. They would want to control every type of behavior, of my husband, and all these things, and what he did and how he did it, and it was insane, right? And I know a lot of people like that. I'm sure everyone can kind of pick out someone in their life or someone that they have maybe interacted with. And the only reason for that is because they are so out of control on the inside that they feel like that's the only way to make them feel better. They have to control everyone else around them. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So just keep that in mind whenever you are, maybe feeling like you are taking it a little bit too far. So an affirmation that I want to give you guys that you can use to go through this is, I am no longer depriving myself of my needs. So write that on your mirror, write that on your phone, write that somewhere where you can read it every day and say, I'm no longer depriving myself of my needs. and see what happens. See how you shift that reality. See how you shift your limiting beliefs. And then you're going to be more open and receptive to good things coming to you. Okay? So, I've enjoyed this coffee chat. And I hope you guys did too. I will be back next week for another one. If you have topics that you want to learn more about, if you have, things that you want to kind of work through, just drop them in the comments below. And of course, if you're ready to take that next step, if you are ready to kind of go to that next level of your life, you can apply below to work with me and book your breakthrough call to work with me. And if you're not ready for that step, then you can check out the Let That Shit Go workbook down below, which is kind of like a detox of your life. And it kind of gets you figuring out where you want to be and let go of all the things that are holding you back. So I look forward to chatting with you guys next week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.